Yo! Paul Catalina here. That was a little FM disc jockey. I'm sorry, Garrett. I apologize to our audience.
Okay.
Unless they want me to do the full show in character of like, hey, you're listening to Biscuit and Gravy in the morning. Biscuit here. I'm going to Gravy. Did you hear the big news about Prince Harry this weekend, huh?
What happened to Prince Harry?
Yeah, that's the trouble in paradise. You know how it is being married and all. No, but it was another weekend in college football where a bunch of things happened we did not expect to happen.
Yep.
And I believe that we are seeing what is the new normal. Because there are going to be teams that are pinnacle, head and shoulders above everybody.
Correct.
Right now, it looks like Texas is one of those teams. Georgia is one of those teams. Ohio State is one of those teams. Alabama might be. I don't know yet. We'll
find out this weekend. I think we'll find out this weekend about Bama.
But I do think like Tennessee might be. My gosh, they're fantastic. And a lot of weird stuff happened from Kansas State not only getting beaten by BYU, that I can wrap my head around. Upsets happen all the time. But getting blown out by the Cougs.
Yeah, I didn't see that one coming.
Or the Cougars. I'm sorry, Houston's the Cougs.
Yes.
I don't know, but yeah.
I'm still struggling to make out what BYU is. Because, like, the only game I've really watched them play this year was the SMU game. And then coming out of that, I was like, okay, well, neither one of these teams are really good. Then SMU goes and obliterates TCU this weekend. It's like, what the hell is happening here?
You know what I saw last week from BYU is a little bit of Frank Beamer ball.
Okay. Where
you return a punt,
Well, they did that again against K-State, yeah.
You create turnovers. The punt return was bananas. It was it was already like it looked like okay, this is where maybe if Kansas 24-9, if Kansas State can flip the field here, get a stop, they get a touchdown, they can get back into this thing. And then just a crazy play happens, and that was the kill shot.
Right.
That was it. That was the old Yeller, just right there for Kansas State. UCF might have broken TCU. Certainly broke Sonny Dykes, who got 30 yards of penalties. He got kicked out of a game, something I am absolutely positive I've never seen personally.
Like, for that to be in SMU, like that was the most horrific situation if you're TCU. I felt so bad I was just kept thinking of Semi through that whole thing about how bad that was going to be for him. But yeah, man, it's crazy to see that. And, that's one of those where when you look at that rivalry, I feel like it's always meant more to SMU, because they've always had like the little brother syndrome towards TCU. And, we talked about the CW leading into it and everything. And, man, the ponies came out with a mission, and TCU was still reeling. And I don't know if they know who they are right now. I don't know. I think TCU's having an identity crisis.
I think they very, very, very much saw that. And it's – my opinion has changed on TCU through 4 games 3 times.
Right, yeah.
I thought against Stanford they looked a little wonky. Stanford went and got a nice little win. Stanford's well coached. I don't know how talented they are.
Their quarterback,
but they're well coached. Yeah,
their quarterback and that receiver are pretty legit. Yeah.
But as far as like overall depth and talent, like that, I don't know. But they're very well coached, which is why they hired. Who they hired, because that's what he did was coach teams well, and then. TCU, I thought, okay, well, that was sloppy, but they got it together. They beat Long Island like they should have beat Long Island. Then they turn around against UCF and play a stellar first half. Second half, wheels come off to the point that they lose the game. And then they never put the wheels back on against SMU. I mean, it's just frustrating. And Sonny Dykes here's the funny thing about Sonny. I know that most of you out there watching this show have not met Sonny Dykes. We have on many occasions. He's on this show all the time. He is one of the friendliest coaches I've met. I think that exists between other coaches and Sonny Dykes. I think that relationship exists between fans and Sonny Dykes, the media and Sonny Dykes. That relationship exists for Sonny Dykes for everybody on planet Earth except the less than 1% of people who are football officials.
Fair. Very
in
fair.
that regard, Sonny Dykes
is the devil.
No, he does not. He does not care for them.
No.
You know, like I thought, like because I'd never really watched a whole lot of his games before he got to TCU or SMU, and then before he got to SMU, and then even more now that he's been at TCU, especially a couple years ago when they were so great. You know, they were kind of appointment television. I remember watching one game and being like, man, that guy. I mean, I talked to him at SMU. Like I interviewed him 10 times before I watched this game, and I was like, God, he really gets after those refs.
Yeah.
Like most of the time, a coach that gets after the refs like that really talks to everybody in their life like that.
Correct. Yeah.
I will not name names, but I know like
you've had experience.
I've had experience from high school, college,
yeah,
pros on down, like little league, whatever it is. Like if you talk to officials like that, you usually talk to everyone at least a little bit like that.
Correct.
You kind of have I'm right and you're wrong about everything. That is not Sonny Dykes.
No.
He reserves it. He reserves it solely for the officials. Absolutely 100% for the officials. Everyone else in the world, he's great. And I mean, he's got this great sense of humor, and he's very calming to talk to. Like he's a very chill guy normally.
Very laid back, man. Very laid back, easygoing.
Like here's my quick impression. Sonny Dykes, sans headset. Hey, man. Hey, how you doing? Hey, sit down. Have a cup of coffee. You know what?
Yeah.
Really love talking to you guys. Sonny Dykes with the headset on. Like, that's the thing. He puts it on, and then he becomes, like, someone else.
It's funny that you say that because during the old system, when I had the graphics made, the one I had for Sonny Dykes was the perfect one of him just laying into an official.
Yeah.
It was so beautiful.
You know, and here's the thing. The reason Max Duggan got better was because Sonny Dykes, when it comes to his players, and I thought Gary Patterson's a man who, when he is on one, is really on.
You don't know. Yeah.
And I think Max Duggan is, hippies call it an empath, you know, where you take in all the emotions around you at once. I don't know what the actual medical term is, but believe me, I've been in the acting and comedy and theater world enough to meet people here's the thing, many times they're right. Like they'll walk up to you and go like, I can see that you're like feeling stressed tonight. You're like, you know what? I am feeling stressed tonight. And the people who use crystals think it's some sort of magical power. I just think some people have that kind of intuition to them. Like they just have that natural ability to see what people's emotions are, or they're trained enough throughout experience of their life, you know. And when I say trained, I just mean
life experiences.
They're observant, and then they're able to be compassionate and empathetic to whatever you're going through. I think Max Duggan might be that kind of guy, but doesn't know, like he just absorbs it and didn't know how to deal with it. Because he was a young kid, right? He was young, he was immature. So when Max Duggan was the quarterback and Gary Patterson is freaking out about every little thing, like I think Max Duggan really took that in. And then when Sonny Dykes came, what Sonny Dykes did was quiet his mind and was like, hey, everything's going to be okay. Like, it's fine. Go out there and have fun, grip it and rip it. Like, we're going to have a blast. And when that happened and that switch flipped in Max Duggan, he was one of the best players in the country. You know, he was one of the most fun college quarterbacks I've seen in the last few years. Like, just super fun to watch, enthusiastic. But again, you watch Sonny Dykes like flip out on the refs the other day. Well, that's not the same thing he would do to Max Duggan, but it was something else. It was something else. It was absolutely something else. And so TCU needs to go to the shop because whatever happened at the UCF game has amplified itself. And things don't get any easier.
No.
Here's Michigan's offense. You either get a big running play or you get nothing. Nothing. They beat USC with like 29 yards passing or something ridiculous like that. USC, like, I think just got a little bit, when those big plays happened, got a little bit off their axis. Obviously, yes, there are things like, look, they were in the big house. That's an intimidating place to play. Michigan got the momentum early and didn't really let it go until the end. And then again, USC gave up big running play.
Well, I think that was the first time that their defensive line this season has actually been tested and pushed around like that. Like, if you go back and look at the game with LSU, LSU's offensive line was talked about like they would come out there and do that. They just haven't lived up to that all season long, and they didn't do anything against USC. And then the next couple of games, they just weren't tested, and then you get into this matchup. That's a different animal, man. And you're going into the big house. Sharon Moore played that position. He knows it. So, I mean, you were going to get the best from them. But I think overall, Miller Moss still had a really good game. I think it really just came down to the first half of that defense getting punched in the mouth and not being able to kind of balance themselves in it. But that was a fun game till the end. And USC still had found themselves in a position to get it done. They just weren't able to. But hats off to Michigan for taking care of business and getting a nice win at home, which was much needed after Texas went in there and kind of embarrassed them.
Yeah. There's something else I need to address when it comes to Michigan football, and this is very important. Their running back that is not Donovan Edwards. The other one that made the big runs is Kalel Mullings. Mm-hmm. His name is spelled Kalel. Now, I don't know this to be a fact, and I have yet to Google it. But when I saw his name pop up on the screen, there is one most important person in American lore named Kal-El, and it is Superman. So big up to his parents for naming your kid Superman, but not naming your kid Superman. I don't know if they came up with or if it's it's an actual name that means something else.
Right.
I just know that when I see Kal-El, that's Clark Kent, baby.
See, and
that is Clark Kent's Kryptonian name, and everyone should have known that. When you've got Kal-El on the other side, you're not to be effed with. Okay?
I do not know too much about Superman, so you just taught me something today.
Yes.
I just learned of Superman's real name, Kal-El.
Yes.
Okay.
So I'm looking up his bio right now to see if he's a graduate student, by the way.
Okay.
Which, listen, Superman, totally a graduate student. Although I don't know if that's how it played out.
Right.
Honors and rankings, personal, Kalisha and Dale, Stephen M. Ross School of Business. Okay, that doesn't help me.
It's not checking.
Yeah, Kalisha and Dale, that doesn't help me out here. Hold on. Let's see Wikipedia now. Let's see.
Through the deep dive.
Yeah, he's from West Roxbury, Massachusetts. Nothing. I'm determined to find this out. If these two people now, I'm also willing to bet. Not that Kalisha may not be a fan of Superman,
right?
But Dale probably is. This is my theory. And they saw the name Kal-El, and they're like, "Ooh, that's a good name," and it's a really good name.
This sounds like a case.
And then Dale was like, or they're going through names. And he's like, "What about Kal-El? K-L-E-E-L." And then she's like, "Oh, I really like that. Where'd you come up with that?" He's like, I don't know. I mean, it's just here. And then, bursting it comes, and here's little Kal-El. And then he's just like, ha, I got one.
I think this is a case that Angelique Shingelis needs to get on.
Oh,
you need to hit her up and have her investigative
and say,
journalist.
Look, this is going to be an out of nowhere
question. Yes. I want to know. I'm invested now.
Yes. His name is Kal-El. And it could be Kal-El. Nobody's going to say Kal-El. Well, you might say Kal-El.
Right.
I don't know. I might name my next dog Kal-El. I'm not sure. It might be Burt Reynolds. We're not we're still open and we're still in negotiations, which are going, I'll just tell you dog-wise, next to nowhere.
Damn. I thought Tigger was the one, man.
I thought so too. Here's the thing. She won't come in here on those days. I've invited her in a couple of Thursdays. Now, granted, she was in the Bahamas last week, which even is a better one. But I think if she had been here, that might have helped my case.
All right, we're going to have to work that up. We're going to have to figure that out, sneak it in here somehow.
Yeah, Emery was here. He saw it. Amanda just has not melted her heart on that one. But I want to get down to business on this and figure out if it is in fact so. Yeah. Dustin Archamber reminds me that term is empathic or an empath. So I don't know if it's like a thing, but there are people like I have a friend named Kami who very much is that way. Like
my wife's like that. Very empathetic. Very, she's very much.
Yeah. Now I've met some other people who say that they are, and then they're like, here, take this crystal. And I'm like, okay, no. rub this on the back of your neck and whisper to the moon goddess. And she will like, no. We're not doing that. This is just a rock. That's all it is. It doesn't hold.
It looks pretty.
Magical powers. It's just a rock. And also, Scam Artist of the Year Award, 1966, whoever came up with
the
crystals have magical powers. Like that person certainly was. Other things that happened, Utah and Oklahoma State looking from the outside looks like a closer game at 22-19. And Oklahoma State certainly did put forth a nice effort in the fourth quarter to, with less than 2 minutes left, cut that down to 22-19. But for the majority of that game, and this is why Oklahoma State, I think, dropped so many spots. If you saw what Utah was doing to them without their starting quarterback and physically mauling them, and Alan Bowman was like just completely shut down for the most part. And they put Garrett Rangel in for a series or so.
Dude.
And that was not good. He was not ready. He was not ready. And Ollie Gordon, for the most part, again, contained. He had a long 11 carries, 42 yards. Oklahoma State's not going to win games when Ollie Gordon only has 42 yards.
No.
And Alan Bowman, 16 of 33, 206, 2 touchdowns, 2 interceptions. Garrett Rangel was 3 of 11 for 31 yards. So, look, as a person who sees the benefit sometimes in sitting your starting quarterback down, even though 1 in 3, baby. I really appreciate Mike Gundy having the balls to just go, hey, look, we're going to just let him run out here. You get reset. And then when Alan Bowman came back in, he played better. So sometimes it's good to sit a guy down and go, it's not going your way. We're going to let the other guy try. And then you watch the other guy go out there and go 3 of 11 and go, okay, I'm back in my headspace. So I've simultaneously knocked Alan Bowman's performance and then given him credit. So calm down, Oklahoma State fans. But
he's just not that dude, man. This is
this is what you're getting. He's bus driver plus.
Exactly.
He can do some things, but mostly he's a bus driver. And that's fine when the rest of the bus is running, but when you've got a couple of flat tires, namely your running game and your defense, which has not been good.
No.
When you've got those things running, when the whole Alan Bowman's a guy you want driving the bus, and he's one of the better bus drivers, right? He can sit there and drive the bus and go, and this, you see how I'm driving it, the wheels like this?
Yeah.
That's an accurate, what we call accurate pantomiming in the acting world. I'm not doing this. You don't drive a bus like this. That's how you drive a Honda Civic, right? Actually, this is probably how you drive a Honda Civic. This is how you drive like a big truck. This is how most people. This is how most people drive. But you're driving the bus. It's great, and then all of a sudden bad things start happening. Well, even the best bus driver is gonna be some that, because again, they're driving a bus. They're not flying an F-16.
Right.
So, but I and then.
Were you surprised to see the success? And it wasn't much. I mean, it wasn't like either one of these teams were really lighting things up, but that Wilson was able to have on that defense?
Yes, a little bit, but, the guy was Mr. Utah football.
No, I know that.
And so that was better than the other guy. He comes in more highly touted. So athletically, he can do some things that their backup quarterbacks last year just couldn't do, They had the kid that was a farmer,
Right, yeah.
who I really
Our pig
liked.
farmer.
I mean, the gritty, what?
Our pig farmer.
The pig farmer, and then was it Johnson? Who's Nate Johnson, who was the really, really athletic, but again, probably not cut out for the Pac-12 or the Big 12. But still good college athletes, just not, able to quarterback you to a conference title. Isaac Wilson's an upgrade above that, and I actually think watching that there's potentially a really bright future for him and the Utes there. Okay, who have we missed? Oh,
Baylor,
have we
Colorado.
missed? Oh, yeah, that's a thing that happened. Yeah, that is a gut punch of a loss for Baylor. One, if I were Dave Aranda, I share the feelings of everyone on the internet. Taylor McCarg sent me in Smokey text about.
I saw Taylor's tweet. Yeah. I got it ready for the main show.
Yeah.
I got it ready.
Yeah, he tweeted that and then immediately texted me and Smokey. And then to say, we were in Victory Cigar, I would have taken that info to my grave.
Yeah, I would not have let that one get out.
But what did we say all week long about Baylor? If Baylor can make this game about the fundamentals, they'll win the game. Mm-hmm. And they did that until that last play. They did that until that last play. Because if you look at everything that Colorado did well, it had to do with the fact that they have, who I believe is the best quarterback in the country right now.
Shedeur?
I think Shedeur is the best, most overall talented quarterback in the country.
I think he's up there, but I don't think he's the best. I put him in the top 5.
I think he can do things that most of the rest of them can't. I don't think he's playing in the best system.
Oh, no. He's got a disservice to him. He's got a disservice to him.
Yes. I think that they are I think that overall offensive malpractice happens on every other snap at Colorado. Mm-hmm. It's just not right, and he makes things so much better.
And I think I was glad to see him use his legs, and because he typically doesn't want to do that. Baylor forced him into it, and he could do some damage.
Well, look, the two big plays on that last drive were, they were in prevent, and then he ran for 20-something yards,
ate him up,
and got him into the position where he could reasonably make that throw, which that throw was unbelievable that he hauled off. Baylor was in the very wrong protection for it. It was, I don't know what was going on. The pass rush was all off. Everything was bad. Everything was bad there. But the difference between Baylor and Colorado is Colorado has those guys. Mm-hmm. They don't have a lot of the Army ants, but they've got those guys. Colorado's defense is getting a little bit better. But Baylor still gashed them at times. And it's just not something that's going to be they might be fundamentally better throughout the year as they start to learn the system a little bit and get maybe better at some of the little things.
Right.
I don't think it's going to be a strength of theirs. They're going to have to win games like this most of the time, which is how they won games last year, which is how most of their games go. They're close.
Yeah.
Because they've got athletes to go and make plays. They can't really blow anybody out, or they can't control the game because you're not very physical.
Right.
Right.
I think from Baylor's perspective, though, there's a lot to be there's a lot of positives to take out of that. Mm-hmm. It took a literal miracle from star players to beat you. I think if you look at the offense with Sawyer Robertson, they were able to create some big plays that personally I don't think we've seen around here in about 3 years. The layout by Monterey Baldwin is probably the best catch I've seen made by a Baylor player since Denzel Mims against Oklahoma State and that one-handed grab on homecoming. There were some plays that were made. There's a lot of promise there for Baylor. It's just, can you – and when you look at their schedule, there's a lot of games that they could still go and win. I think they can make a bowl game. But, man, that was just a brutal gut punch the way that thing ended.
Yeah. And then the way that, for Dominic Richardson but it was, look, and here's the thing. This is the difference between that dude being that dude. They had two instances on either side of that of being that dude. One, Shedeur Sanders was that dude when he threw that pass.
Yep.
Yes, Baylor set it up for it, but it was still a magical throw. Mm-hmm. And LeJontay Wester, a guy who's not getting, who will not,
catch.
he'll fall in like behind, but he's someone who I'd want on my team. He's really good receiver. He can return punts. He can do a lot of things. He had like 119 catches, something ridiculous at FAU last year. So he's someone that, that's their third wide receiver or fourth wide receiver in that group behind Hunter and Horn and
Shepard.
Shepard.
You can like rotate, you pick whichever
Look, and had Shepard caught that pass on the 2-yard line or whatever it was, like right before, the game's over.
Yeah.
It's over. Like, you you would have much rather had that one than what happened right after.
Yeah.
But it's that dude versus the teams that don't have that dude. And in the moment, the 2 moments in the game where Colorado needed that dude, on offense they got Shadur, and then at the 1-yard line, one thing I'll say about Travis Hunter compared to his mentor is
he'll hit.
Deion Sanders was not well known for mixing it up.
No, he did not like contact.
He was not, and he really made no bones about it.
No.
He really made no bones about it. And again, I respect him for at least admitting, like not pretending like he was Carnell Lake, or Ronnie Lott, just going like, look, and I remember Deion with the Cowboys, they ran him on a corner blitz and he made a sack. And I think it was one because he was just so fast. But also the quarterback was like, is Deion really gonna? Yes,
he gonna do this?
He just tackled me. What do you know about that? Like that's a trick play on defense. You can't really run many trick plays on defense, but that was a trick play on defense. But he will mix it up, and he got in there and knocked that ball out. And I watched Travis Hunter, and it physically makes me sick to my stomach how good he is.
He's so fun, man.
And the reason it does is because until Deion Sanders decided he wanted to be a coach, like you haven't conquered enough stuff in your life, Travis Hunter was going to go to Florida State like his idol Deion Sanders.
Mm-hmm. But he
No. Now we've got a coach.
Yeah.
Now we have to do this. And Deion has positively affected the lives, I'm sure, of people around him by his coaching. I'm not saying that he hasn't. What I'm saying is it has negatively affected my life in particular directly, and so I'm going to be mad about it.
Do you feel any better today coming off a win?
Yes.
Okay. I just
I'm
got to
going
check
to
on
see
you.
them in Dallas this weekend. I don't have to see an 0-4 team. I got to see the defense play tough again.
Uh-huh.
Yeah. So here's the best news coming off of Florida State's week. It's not the win. It's that they showed they have one problem. I mean, they have other problems, but they have one problem.
One major problem.
That they have not solved yet. They might have figured out the defensive thing yet a little bit. It looked a lot like the Louisville game, to be quite honest with you. Which, again, I'm fine winning games that way if the thing is winning games that way. That's fine, but they have one problem, and the thing is that he threw the perfect touchdown pass to win the game. So what I'm worried about is the enabler that is out there is going to go, see, he can do that. It's okay, look, but it's the other ones that don't happen, or how long he takes with the ball waiting for. He doesn't throw people open.
No.
He doesn't throw people open. He waits for them to be open and then throws. So that's the difference. But yes, Clint, Cal missed field goals. FSU lucked out. Okay. Hater.
Oh, I love it.
People miss field goals. All right. Cal missed field goals because they have a bad kicker. That's not luck. All right. Okay.
Like, you know a thing or two about missed field goals.
I know. I know a thing or two. Believe me. Hater. Just a hater. FSU did nothing to Oregon State. Nothing. In fact, you sent your cancer to us. You should be apologizing to me.
It's your fault, Clint.
Clint Moses should write me an apology letter every day until DJU is benched. Bottom line. Him and Jonathan Smith. Jonathan Smith for conning people into thinking that this was tenable. Those two people should write me an apology letter every single day until DJU is not the quarterback anymore. You hear me, Clint? You hear me? Sorry I had to get like that.
Yeah. I didn't even think about that. Like, Jonathan Smith didn't even look at DJU in the portal. He's like, no, you're not coming here.
No, absolutely not. Yeah. I want an apology letter. I want some, like, crumble cookies or something.
Damn.
Maybe a fruit basket. I don't know. The address here is 101 Elm, Suite A.
Make it happen.
76704. We're here most of the day during normal delivery hours.
Yes.
Garrett, one other thing we have to get through for the Kansas State BYU game is the burrito.
Yeah. Why do people keep doing this? Did people not learn a lesson after the cup with Florida State? Why do we keep resorting to saying we're going to do things, whether it's in putting them in our bodies in some way or another?
So, look, if you've got children in the room, this is maybe the time to send them away. Saint Bill Snyder on Twitter said, if K-State loses to BYU, I'll shove a beefy 5-layer burrito up my ass. Mm-hmm. BYU football. BYU, the official account, check mark.
Yes.
Gold check mark, not just a blue. Not just like me. It's a blue check mark, run-of-the-mill jamoke.
We're
right?
Official.
Yeah. A gold check mark, BYU football. Tweets back, Liv Moss.
I love it. I love that so much from BYU. I'm glad they did that.
Yeah. Good for, look, not your grandfather's, LDS, right here.
I'm all for it.
You talk noise, we're going to talk noise right back.
It was probably
and here's the thing, in the most Mormon polite way possible. Just quoting a popular television commercial. Liv Moss, the slogan of Taco Bell.
all you got to do.
Yeah.
Did you see the video the man put out?
St. Bill Snyder?
Yes.
I did not.
So he's got a burrito laying on top of the American flag, and he's got this music playing, and he's building up to it, and he comes up out of the background with a Taco Bell bag on his head and puts the date and time and says, "We are going to do this." So,
hey, you know
power
what?
to you, brother.
Yeah, good to you.
Enjoy that.
I am. Here's the thing. I'm curious of the logistics and the physics of this. Not because I get my jollies in such a fashion. Mm-hmm. I just know that as a person who will now never eat a beefy 5-layer burrito again, knows that it's not something that. It's very squishy.
Yeah.
I mean, so unless he freezes
that's your
it,
first problem.
Like, I don't, and like, what constitutes? That's what I'm curious about.
Like is it the whole burrito? Is it like
just
a tomato?
like just the tip of the burrito? I don't know. I'm concerned. By the way, I'm telling you right now at Rogue Media, clip this segment. Clip it. You hear me? Opus Clip, the robot that does this. Dear Opus Clip, clip this segment. Clip it. Clip it.
So, how do you even play that? Like, what do you?
I don't know. Like, I don't know. Like, here's the thing about the Florida State guy who wanted to eat the dog crap or said he would and then didn't, and has such maybe put us in a curse.
Yes.
Much like Babe Ruth and the piano. Have you heard about that one?
I've heard of. I don't know about the piano. Did they sink the piano or something?
So yeah, he sunk a piano.
Yeah.
Like they pushed a piano out on the ice.
Yeah.
And then promptly Babe Ruth got traded for no net.
Right.
And by Harry Frazee, whose name I just had to say. And then a group of Boston fans got together and paid to have the piano exhumed from the lake that it was in to hopefully help break the curse of the Bambino.
Did not work.
I have a feeling, but he just said he would eat dog crap out of a red Solo cup. Like, he didn't say how much.
Yeah.
Because you could take like a little speck of it, mix it into like a blizzard, and then just go, right?
I mean, I guess.
Take your lump. It's surrounded by ice cream and Butterfinger.
Just hope for the best.
And just hope for the best. Like, but this guy apparently is putting the breed. Like, good for you, St. Bill Snyder. Don't leave your team in that kind of a thing.
No.
But good luck hosing that off. That's all I'm saying. That's all I'm saying. Erica says, people stop with the gross nonsense. It deserves curses. I agree with you. Stop it.
Please.
Stop it. Don't look.
It's the attention.
The Cubs were cursed for 100 years because they wouldn't let a goat in the stadium. Let the goat in. Don't tempt the sports gods.
Right.
They're an angry, finicky group of gods, like the Greek or Roman gods.
Yes.
Who had very human frailties. I like when we figured this, monotheism out. We figured out that maybe like the guy who's omnipotent who created everything doesn't just fly off the handle for no reason. The primitive people thought like, oh, well, they're just like us, but magic.
Not quite.
That was their thing. Totally like us, but magical. That's what they are. They're us with magical powers. When we come back, let's run through some of the other things this week. Like Mac Brown almost retired after getting bludgeoned by JMU. I think this is the first, kind of indication that North Carolina is going to have a different coach